Do you want to enact brutal police brutality? Have you ever fantasized about violently tasing a woman? Do you want PTSD? Are you very inclusive?
He's black!
If so, Ready or Not is the game for you. Ready or Not is an intense tactical first-person shooter with a focus on realism, where you need to defuse volatile situations alongside your dumbass AI SWAT team who like standing in hallways and dying. The game is set in the fictional city of Los Sueños, which is heavily inspired by Los Angeles. The city is rampant with crime and homelessness. In the game, you face dynamic situations which include active shooters, hostage situations, and barricaded suspects. You can be non-lethal and use pepper guns, but you know, I do it the American way. My 5.56 assault rifle and my 9mm Glock. Yeehaw. Let's talk about the campaign. The game features 3 different campaign modes: Practice, Commander, and Iron Man. In Practice mode, you can play any map that you want in the game, and if any of your squad members die, they magically regenerate any trauma that has occurred to their body and they will reappear at the police station. This mode is good if you want to mess around with equipment and practice the campaign missions. In Commander mode, if any of your squad members die, they die, and you need to replace them. Your squad members can develop PTSD in this game mode, as they can build up stress from missions, resulting in either being worried, stressed, or in a crisis. To prevent this from happening, you need to either cycle them out with other members of the SWAT department, or send them to therapy before they gobble down copious amounts of paracetamol combined with very strong whiskey. Also, if you die even if you're almost done with a level, you need to restart it, because there isn't any way to save in the game. Fun. In Iron Man mode, the stuff in Commander mode still applies, but if you die, you're dead, and you need to restart from the beginning of the campaign, of which there's 18 levels you have to complete to reach the end. Fun. When doing a mission, you must devise a plan and quickly execute it and neutralize all threats in the area while saving bystanders.
Whoops, that's a civilian.
You then need to complete secondary objectives, such as finding hard drives, meth, and weapon manufacturing equipment. The AI squad mates can unlock a trait once they complete missions. For example, Ethan has the kicker trait, which allows the whole team to kick down doors with one kick. Although the AI has aimbot and is functional for the most part, they are the dumbest officers that I've ever seen. For example, they utterly obliterate suspects that you need to arrest alive as an objective, making you fail the objective. They also have horrendous pathfinding, and they will sometimes walk in a random direction away from the room that you asked them to clear.
To all skibidi whistlers, I hereby say, yeah.
Multiplayer. The game allows you to play either with friends or with very interesting random people. The people you play with range from SWAT LARPing experts who sit at their desk in full Kevlar body armor to brain-dead 7-year-olds who run into rooms and start shooting. You can choose any of the 18 maps in the game to play, and there are no AI squad mates, thank God. Meaning that if you and your friend decide to do an obnoxiously large map like the hospital, you will be the only players clearing it, meaning there'll be just 2 people against a whole terrorist branch. Seems fair. My favourite feature of the online mode is that you can shoot unsuspecting people in the head, for no good reason, except because it's funny. I also find it's fun to ruin multiplayer games by becoming an aggressor, especially on the school map, by going around and terminating the rest of the school children after we have stopped the school shooters, and we ourselves become the school shooters, and I consequently shoot any teammate who doesn't let me fulfill this fantasy. It is quite fun to play this game with friends, as the rage this game can induce is very funny, and I enjoy it when my unsuspecting friend gets blown up by a door trap. I'd say if you are going to play this game multiplayer, I'd recommend playing it with friends.
Damn, she turns me on. What the f?
Thank you so much.
Because it's easier to talk to them over Discord, and they will actually help you finish a mission. Unlike a lobby full of 8-year-olds. I mean, you can play this game with randoms, but your chances of finding a lobby with people who actually communicate with you and want to finish the maps are quite a bit lower, as you'll probably just get headshotted as soon as you load into the game. Overall, I'd say that the multiplayer in this game is quite fun. That is, if you like messing around and not caring too much about completion.
Dude, he was just looking at me, he's like, hey, what are you gonna do, bro? What are you gonna do? What are you gonna do?
As chances are, you and your friends will run around like idiots and just get sprayed by the NPCs with aimbot.
Why, dude? There's no way!
What the fuck? Weapons and customization. The game provides you with a limited variety of guns, my favourite being the SA-58, or as I like to call it, the Penetrator. It's so powerful that it shoots through walls after going through someone's brain, and kills innocent civilians on the other side. The game lets you choose between assault rifles, SMGs, shotguns, and secondary weapons, like pistols, and then non-lethal weapons, like a pepper ball gun or a taser. My favourites also include the M1014, the P90, the LVAR, the SLR-47, and the 357 Magnum. It also lets you customise your weapons, with scopes, grips, flashlights, lasers, suppressors, compensators, and others. You can customise the weapons and loadouts of all of your teammates. For example, you can give everyone gas masks, and then just stock up on gas grenades and just completely suffocate everyone on the map. Or you can give everyone a buckshot shotgun and completely obliterate a family, which is what I prefer doing. In terms of customization for apparel, you can unlock different clothing, tattoos, and other items by completing certain things in the game, such as achieving a high rank on a specific map. There's not really too much to talk about for outfit customization. I mean, this is pretty self-explanatory, just clothes. Realism. The game attempts to incorporate aspects of realism, particularly in terms of its level atmosphere, weapon handling, ammunition, and general weapon customization. For example, having to check how many rounds you have left by manually checking your magazine, and being able to choose between bullet types, such as armor-piercing rounds or hollow point rounds. The enemy AI, whilst it has its flaws, acts in ways I find adds realism to the game. For example, the AI can decide to shoot itself if it feels threatened, and knows you are closing in on them. They also can decide to flank you from behind if you aren't being careful, and a good way to prevent this is by using door wedges in order to block doors that you don't need to have open. You can also die very easily, as you can get headshot by the crackhead version of John Wick with a 1 millisecond reaction time, and there's nothing you can do about it. I guess that's realistic. In terms of level and sound design, I think this is where Ready or Not comes into its own here. The ambience on certain maps can be oddly terrifying sometimes. For example, on the nightclub map, where you need to respond to a terrorist shooting, the place is littered with corpses, and all you can hear is their cell phones ringing on the floor, as their family is trying to reach them. Couple this with the ambience of the nightclub, and the fact that there's like 10 terrorists running around with AKs, and there's also been times where I've genuinely been jump scared by the enemies, like I'll turn around the corner and just get shot in the face. Overall, in terms of realism, I feel like Ready or Not tries to be realistic, but honestly just fails. The absolute terrarium that this game is for bugs just really takes away from the experience. That and the fact that the AI is just kind of broken. Like, suspects feel like bullet sponges, and for some reason, they have insane aim, like they've done 5 tours of Afghanistan. The game serves fine, just as like a fun SWAT sim, but it's like they're trying too hard to make it realistic, and I think they fail in that regard anyways. I mean, I'm glad that the game doesn't really feel that realistic, because a super realistic SWAT game would just be boring, like standing outside of a schizophrenic's door for 6 hours, waiting for him to walk outside and detain him. I just feel like the developers should be focusing more on making the gameplay balanced, rather than trying to accomplish whatever they think realism is. The game's definitely came a long way from what it used to be, and the fact that there's a plethora of ways you can control your SWAT team, and that you can take any approach you want to clearing maps, I find is really intuitive, and inherently adds to the realism of the game. Mods and community. So the game allows you to install community-made mods, and that turns out just as well as you'd expect. There's quite a lot of really weird mods that you can find on Nexus, and you can install them if you want to absolutely ruin the game. I mean, apart from mods like those, honestly, Ready or Not has a pretty solid modding community. I mean, it feels like they care more about the game than the developers themselves, and they actually improve the AI and add way more content into the game through mods alone, than the devs have. I mean, it's good that the developers have allowed people to mod the game so easily, and I feel like by doing that, they've definitely helped the community of the game by just making it so easy to implement whatever you want into the game. Most mods are just fixes, improvements, and new weapons, but I also really enjoy the player-made maps. I feel like that's all there is to talk about for mods. The community of the game is pretty good. I mean, definitely when you compare it to the community of other games, like Overwatch or Valorant. I mean, when you check the community tab, there's not anything graphic. It's genuinely just people giving feedback on the game, and funny guides and screenshots. I mean, the people who tend to play tactical shooters are, well, they all tend to be larpers, really. So you open up the community tab and all you see is someone's gun collection. And when you interact with the player base inside the game, especially on multiplayer, honestly, it's pretty good. I rarely have issues with people throwing games, and usually they genuinely try and work together and get the objectives completed. And people often do have mics and actually bother communicating with you. So, overall, Ready or Not gets an official cry review of 7 out of 10. Here's all the things I like about the game, here's all the things I don't like about the game. Subscribe, bye.